so y'all can go ahead and flood my chat and let me know who your gateway bands are. What band got you into rock and roll? All right, I'm seeing Led Zeppelin, Bon Jovi. Wow. Bon Jovi, really? What song from Bon Jovi? I'm curious. Iron Maiden, another for Led Zeppelin. Yeah, and I can see that. I can see how a lot of people, their first experience or their gateway band into rock and roll may have been who I consider like the big four of classic rock and roll: Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, and maybe Kiss or Rush or someone like that. Dio. Wow. Wow. Now, Metallica is metal. So we're not talking about metal. Because I always ask you metalheads, what were the bands or who are the artists that got you into metal music? And a lot of times y'all graduate. Y'all graduated from rock and roll music into metal. So that's kind of like what we're getting at. And I think it's sometimes it might be rare. It might be rare that maybe it's a band that nobody knows. Maybe it's one of those underground or lesser known bands that were popular during the 70s or 60s or even the 80s that not a lot of people know about. But their music was so good that you got drawn in off of a first time listen. And that's very rare. Tasha and I, we do reactions all the time. We listen to a lot of music. And it's very rare that you hear a song or you hear an artist and you're completely blown away by the first song you hear. And sometimes it even happens in the first maybe 10 seconds. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen reactions where I've done. I believe recently we did Rory Gallagher. And within the first few seconds of the song, you're like, whoa, you know it's going to be good. And so that's what I want to know. Now, let me see some of these comments. I had to ask Connie, I said, what was your gateway band? What was your gateway artist? And she said Aerosmith. Now, I know many of y'all know who Connie is, and her taste in music is like very expansive because not only is she very familiar with rock and roll, but she's, familiar with country, metal. She's in the metal streams with us, and hip hop. Connie knows her shit. So I'm like, what kicked this journey off for you? Aerosmith. And the song was Train Kept a Rolling. I like that song. Now, it might not be the song that would get me into the band. Well, I always say this. The song that got me into liking Aerosmith's music was Jaded, which is a 90s song. But that was the first song I heard from them that I liked. Oh, you're so jaded. Na, 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 na. Now, I know it doesn't sound like the Aerosmith most of y'all are familiar with, but, that was a song that I liked. But anyway, let me see. Leonard Skinner. Free. What else? The Allman Bros. Boston. Oh, wow. Canned Heat. Now, is Canned Heat a band or a song? Because I know a couple of songs named Canned Heat. Oh, Kiss, God of Thunder. Oh, man. Now, I remember God of Thunder was probably the second song I heard from Kiss. The first song that we heard from them that I liked, that got me into the band, was I Was Made for Loving You. Now, I know what y'all are saying. It's not traditionally the style of Kiss, but that is the first song that I actually really listened to from Kiss that I really liked, that said, let me explore this band's music. And of course, to my disappointment, I found that none of their songs sound like that. But nonetheless, I mean, they have really, really good songs. But I think I Was Made for Loving You, that is a good gateway song. It's a good song to kind of reel people in for who might be curious with the band. But I will say I have explored Paul Stanley's solo work, and I do like his vocal styles. Paul Stanley is really good. T, you asked for it, you got it. Cobrax, what are you talking about, man? Did you give me a band? All right, let's see. Kings and Queens by Aerosmith. Oh, that's a great song. I love that song. You said Twisted Sister and Def Leppard? What song from Twisted Sister? We're Not Gonna Take It? You said I was lucky. I had pretty much full access to my parents' record collection from a stupid age. Well, you know what? That I don't think that's really that big of a deal because music was still fairly safe back in the day. Back in the day, you know, not so guitar guy. I'm not sure how old your parents are or how old you are, but for me, when I had access to my parents' music, that was like bad because my dad, he had like a collection of gangster rap cassettes, and even though he had like, because my dad was into rock music, but I didn't know. I only saw the rap stuff. The gangster rap was what I went to because I liked the curse words. You know, I couldn't curse as a kid, but I liked hearing Ice-T and Snoop Dogg and everybody else curse. So, yeah. But I think maybe Ice-T, Dr. Dre, and Beastie Boys. That was my gateway into hip hop. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into these requests.